that I should have handled things in a more adult manner and have had a voice chat about things first. Um, but I will just I'll just let you guys ask me whatever question you want, and I'll answer it as truthfully as I can. So whatever you guys need to get off your mind or need to ask, um, you know, I'm here so you guys can have closure, and so I can have closure.
Okay.
Yeah, just
anyone
ask
else?
whatever you want.
Anyone want to start off, or what do you guys want to do? All right. I know that she's feeling apprehensive, so I'll turn this over to you. Do you got anything you want to say first, or do you want me to go ahead and say something?
I guess you can start, and I'll bounce off of it.
All right. Cool. So, I have a couple of questions, and I'm not asking these things to attack you. I'm not saying these things with any hostility, but I do have some questions, and I hope that you will keep to your word about answering them as truthfully as possible. Setting aside any past issues with who copied this, who stole that, let's forget about that for a minute. Well, we'll put that aside, all right?
I respect that.
All right?
I respect that greatly. Yep.
Sure. I'd still like to address that at some point. Don't make any mistakes about that, but that's not what I'm here to address.
Mm-hmm.
I have a couple of questions about some of the behavior and trends that I've noticed in how you act towards other people, the fallout from those actions, and then the inevitable relapse once everything kind of settles. All right? Now, you've already prefaced this by saying that you have anger issues and you should have handled things better and you're a human and you make mistakes, and that's all well and good. I have anger issues. All right? I have a bad temper. I'm perfectly willing to admit that. But something that I've noticed in you, and again, this is not an insult to you, is that regardless of your anger issues, you don't seem to own up to your mistakes after you've made them. What you do is you piss everyone off, you react violently, you act in a knee-jerk sort of fashion, and then you run away. And then you come back and you ask everyone, not even for forgiveness, not even to say like, hey, I'm really sorry that I did X, Y, or Z. You just kind of come back and you're like, let's talk it out. Let's talk it out. Let's talk this out. But I don't think in any of the things that I've seen, I don't think I've ever seen you stop and say, that was wrong of me, I screwed up, and I completely understand why you feel this way, and I shouldn't have done those things. Or rather, if you do take, like, responsibility for those things, and you say, like, yes, I acknowledge that I did X, Y, or Z wrong, you just keep making the same sort of mistake. And I don't understand why you do that. You kind of you freak out at people, and it becomes very self-destructive in the end. Like, you'll ban someone, you'll kind of, censor them or whatever the case is, and then you kind of like let them back and you try to act like nothing happened. And it's like, have you ever once like had to actually face the consequences for anything that you've done? Like, do you do that? Like, I don't understand.
I would like to think, especially this last year, especially with you in particular, I would like to think, and I think you would actually agree with this, that I have definitely faced my my karma for my aggression.
Have you? Can you give me some examples of that karma? Because from our perspective,
I think you were a living example of it.
What have I done?
I mean, I'm not saying you have done anything out of bad intention, right? But what I'm saying is that you, right, are like the embodiment, right? Sorry, of that karma, right? You, right, after working with you, you were, and I'm gonna say this, right, and this isn't me trying to kiss ass or whatever, but you were my favorite YouTuber, right, of all time.
By the way, just
and
real
I was
quick,
heavily.
I'm sorry to interject.
I'm not trying to suck your
No,
dick.
no.
You're fine.
You're cool. Just hang on. There is another voice behind me. They're unrelated to all this. It's my wife. She's playing with a cat. So if you hear someone that's someone else, it's unrelated.
No, you're fine, man.
So let me.
No, but like.
Okay, so favorite YouTuber.
If I can continue.
Okay, go ahead.
Yeah. But no, after having my my issue with Manicu, my grudge with him for several years, you came in and you just straight up said, hey, no, right, no more, and all that work, just kind of gone, even though, we could argue. I'm not really here to argue about past shit, like you said. But I have spent hundreds, probably thousands of hours sitting there every day. And, most of it was out of just pure anger, right? Pure spite for somebody else. But seeing someone I greatly respected, right, walk away from me for my attitude really made me do some self-reflecting, because I realized, that was a fuck up.
But the problem is that I don't see that.
Mm-hmm.
I don't see what you're saying though, because you're saying that because I put my foot down and I wasn't going to buy into your attitude or whatever, that you realize it was a fuck up. But I don't think so, because I see it continuing. Maybe not with me, because we both just kind of agreed to not speak to one another.
Mm-hmm.
But I see it happening with a lot of other people too. If someone disagrees with you, or you even suspect them of siding with Manicu over whatever the hell, and again, I'm not talking about that right now, but if anyone does anything that slights you in some way, you blow up and you kick them out of your life, or you block them, you ban them from this, that, and the other thing.
That's true, I do.
And then later, you're like, oh, maybe that was hasty, and you let them back in. But you have to stop and ask yourself, how long can you keep getting away with that? How long can you keep
I don't think
on
I get away with it, man. I think every time...
Yeah, you know why you get away with it?
Anyone
because
steps
when
on
you do
somebody...
this, you run away. I don't know if you've noticed this either, but every time you're confronted about these sort of issues, like this right here, this is the first time that I've ever seen where someone has come to you with an issue they have with you. I think this is the first
time we've talked in voice.
We talked one other time.
About work.
But
besides about work, and
this is the first time I can think of in anyone's experience that's told me about their experience with you, which is quite a lot. Is that this is the first time that you've had someone say, "I have a problem with you. I want to talk with you about that problem," and you didn't immediately run away. Okay? Because you can say and nod all you want, but I'm telling you, this is a real issue that I've been seeing with you. And again, I'm not trying to attack you.
I'm just acknowledging you. I apologize. No, I don't think you are either.
When someone confronts you about your suspicious behavior, or maybe your attitude, or things like that, your go-to answers are, "I'm human," or "I acknowledge that," or something. But then if someone is like, "Yeah, but that's not okay," you kind of go, "I don't want to talk about it. I don't want to get into this." And you run away, or you block them, or you do something. You get called out in this community, you get called out in that community. You lay low for a while, you change your name, and you vanish. And then you come back, I don't know, a little bit later, maybe either after you regret it, or after you think that people have forgotten about you. Right? And, that's messed up. You can't keep doing that. How you're going to push away everyone. Right, I'm saying this as like actual advice. I'm not saying this to come down hard on you, because I admit it's frustrating. Okay, but this is like legit.
I appreciate it. Yeah,
this is like legit life advice that I'm giving you right now. You're gonna do that to the wrong person, and it's going to bite you in the ass and have actual real life consequences. It is actually going to screw you up really badly. Not on VR chat, not in some fandom. It's going to really fuck you up. And I don't know how old you are or whatever, but I do know that this kind of behavior, these crazy tantrums where you go off on someone and then you go, "Actually, no, you can come back. I'm sorry." Not even I'm sorry most of the time. But you can't keep doing that, man. You're going to piss off the wrong people, and it's going to really fuck you up. It's really going to fuck you up. I can't trust
I would
you.
just like to point
that's
out that
something that's not going to
well,
happen.
no,
anytime
that's
soon.
fine. I apologize for saying that. I agree with that. But I will say, with all due respect, you do not know much about me.
No,
No,
no.
and
I don't.
I will be
No, no,
fair
no, no, no.
too. I
Stop
think
right here.
a lot of people act like they know me, but
I
they
don't
do
need
not.
to know a lot about you because I know how you've behaved. What I know about you
Right.
is what you've put forward. All right, and what
Right.
you've put
You
forward.
see my behavior, right?
What you have put forward right now is in as subtle as not, excuse me, not subtle, and as gentle a word as I can describe, is kind of despicable. You do things that are hurtful, you do things that are manipulative, you do things that are not really the truth a lot of the time, and people know that it's not the truth, but the only reason why you've managed to escape consequences for it is because you run away, you lay low, or you silence anyone who tries to speak up against you. That's why I opened that document. That's why I've been documenting all the horrible, bad interactions that people have had with you, because I'm kind of sick of it. I don't even have a horse in this race. Me and you don't have anything going on together, but I'm tired of seeing other people in the Mega Man community, which I care greatly about, getting stepped on by you. And I'm sick of it. And I tell you what, I'm going to keep on adding things to that document every time you fuck up, because I think at one point it's got to catch up with you. You can't keep doing this. You really can't. I'm not saying this because, like,
Well,
I'm a hater and I want to go out. I don't care.
No, you're fine.
But I'm telling you, you can't keep doing this. You're stepping on a lot of people. You're hurting a lot of people. You have been so spiteful to people over the smallest little thing, and sometimes you're in the wrong. And you have to know that you're in the wrong. You have to know at some point that you are the one who's stepped on someone's toes, right? I mean, sometimes it's blatant.
I will admit, yes, I have.
Okay.
I have blatantly been in the wrong, and I've reacted.
But do you actually regret it? That's the key problem here. Is that I don't think anyone believes that you regret any of the things that you do to people.
There has been multiple times where I've regretted it.
Really?
Yes.
Then how come you keep doing it?
You know, when you're just so fucking pissed off all the time, it's you always just got these
That's not an excuse.
Event, right?
That's not an excuse. Listen,
excuse.
no. But I understand. But everyone has their problems, man. Everyone has their problems, and you know what you have to do? You have to still try to be a decent person in spite of those problems. All right? I've got anger issues. All right? I have a lot of regrets. I have a lot of shame, a lot of guilt about choices that I've made in my life. All right? I have a lot of things that I've done that I don't like about myself. I have a lot of things that I wish I could do. I wish I could throw a tantrum every time I get angry. But I have to stop and contemplate the consequences of my actions. And I have to realize that if I keep doing them, I'm going to lose everyone that I care about. And I can't help but feel like you just have no regard for that. You keep doing these things where you lose this person, that person, another person, and it just keeps going. And then you whole communities look at you and they go, damn, dude, what the hell are you on? Why are you doing this? And then you jump ship and you go somewhere else. You can't... Running away and starting over again somewhere else where people don't know your name and they don't know your reputation is not a method of survival. Like, what? You can't keep this up. I'm begging you. This is not an attack. I'm begging you. Stop. Take some responsibility.
What would you suggest?
I would suggest...
What would you suggest I do?
Number one, I would suggest being 1,000% honest. All right? I don't know if you're ever going to get the trust back of the people that you've crossed and the people that you've burned and all the bridges that you've burned, but you have to start being 100% honest with yourself. All right? You have to stop making up excuses for your actions. You have to stop trying to justify shitty things that you've done, and you have to say, that was shitty, I'm going to change. Because if you can't look at yourself and say, I fucked up, I don't want to fuck up anymore, I'm going to change that behavior, you're going to keep fucking up. You're going to just keep letting it happen. All right? You have to stop. You have to be honest. If someone says to you, hey man, did you copy this? Are you stealing this? Did you do that? Again, we'll talk about that when we get to that. But if someone says, did you do this? Did you take this thing? Are you distributing this model against my will when you know very well that you're not supposed to do that? You have to stop and say, you know what? Yes. Yes, I am. You can't go, oh, well, according to their wording, I'm allowed to do this. No, that's bitch shit. You're making up excuses when you do that. You can't. You can't be doing that, man. If someone says to you, these are the terms of how this is supposed to be handled, or this is how I'm supposed... You can't squirm your way around those rules. You can't do it. You have eroded everyone's trust in you. And you think that if you just bully people, or you manipulate people, or you say mean things about people, that they'll just, fall into line and they'll keep doing what you want. You're acting like communist Russia. This is what dictators do. This is what they do, man. And I'm telling you, you don't want to be doing this. This works on the online scene, like when you can get away with that kind of thing, because some people just don't have the strength or the resources, or you can just run away from those kind of problems when people criticize you for them. But I'm telling you, this is going to catch up with you, and it's really going to screw you up. I'm telling you, it's going to screw you up. This is going to destroy your career, and you're not going to have any friends. Like, no friends. Not even, forget real friends, like, in person. You're not going to have any online friends, because eventually you'll have backstabbed every single person in your circle, and you're going to be by yourself. You're going to have no one. All right? And despite all the feelings that people might have about you and how I might feel about you, I don't want that to happen, because it doesn't have to happen. I've been trying to talk to you this way and tell you about how I feel about this and warn you this way since the day I confronted you when I first started seeing all this evidence piling up against you. And I was like, I want to try to remain neutral. I want to hear his side of it. Maybe he's got a good explanation. Because if he does, I will flip everything around and I'll say, nope, Manica was the one that was wrong. But you didn't. You tucked tail and you ran. And I was like,
Same.
well, what am I supposed to do?
About that.
Like what am I? How am I supposed to take that? What am I supposed to say with that info? What do I do with this information? All right, man. You say you didn't do it. Give me your side of the story. I want to be honest with you. I want to give you a chance, because maybe you have been nice to me. You have been really good to me. What's your side of this? And you just said, well, you've already made up your mind. I don't want to do it. Did I? I'm literally telling you I want to hear what your side is. Did I really dig my heels and make up my mind?
I do remember at the time, fair to you, that did remove all my avatars a week prior, as well as doing other that I don't really have. But I do strongly, like now, and back then, I did strongly already. So I felt like, to me, why should I owe somebody patient for anything if they've already made up their mind?
Because you have to own up for your mistakes. If you do something, whether or not you're guilty, let's say you didn't copy anything, right? Let's say you didn't steal anything, right? Let's say I was completely wrong, right? You owe it to the people that are talking to you to be truthful. You owe it to them to try, and I'm not saying like, you should explain yourself on every baseless accusation. That doesn't make any sort of sense. But there's evidence piling against you. Someone is willing to give you a fair shot, and you throw it away. What are they supposed to think about that? And you're saying, well, you already made up your mind. Why should I do this? Well, if you're innocent, don't you want to prove that you're innocent? Don't you want to say, hey, man, this is the facts. This is what happened. This is how it really goes. But you don't do that. You tuck tail and you run. I've been in
a really shitty cycle for a very long time.
Yeah, a very long time. But when does it stop, dude?
It's hard to trust when someone you respect and work with already made a decision after says,
listen.
Hey, what's your side of the...
I removed your avatars from my world because I started seeing the evidence mounting up, and I didn't like that. I wanted to stay neutral. I was like, you know what? This doesn't feel right.
It's for publicity. Yeah, like you would obviously.
I just wanted to keep your avatars out of my world, unless you talk to me, you explain your side of the story, and if you told me you could explain reasonably why there were all these contradictions with this, that, and the other thing, I would have put your avatars back. And as a matter of fact, in my project, I believe they're still there. I just have them hidden. All right, if I actually wanted to go into the project file, they're still in the project file. I just have them disabled. All right,
I deleted all my next stuff.
Regardless, that's not the point. What I'm trying to get at, though, is like every time you're presented with the opportunity to actually prove your point or actually defend yourself in some way where... Because you don't just say, like, this is all drama or whatever. You say in a way where you're like, they're lying. They're completely wrong. This is all baseless. This is all this. It's all that. And then everyone's like, okay, prove it. Can you just tell us, like, how is it baseless? How are they wrong? And then you don't do anything. You tuck tail and you run. Like, you know... And like I said, you can't keep saying, well, I have anger issues, or I've been in a tough time, you know, things have been rough for me. Yeah, dude, you know, we're all stuck in a pandemic together. All right? We all have things that are going on. All right? Everyone's in a tough time right now. I'm in a financially tight spot right now, okay? Things are rough. Everything's rough. Everyone's got tough times. You can't keep using that as your out. You can't just say, well, the devil made me do it. It doesn't work that way. You eventually have to take accountability. And you know what? If you could stop running from your problems and saying that you're not saying this literally, but you're basically saying, I'm perfect, nothing is wrong, you're the people who are wrong. Right? And then you kind of want the problem to go away when you do that. You think that it'll just vanish. If you can just pretend that there's no problem, then there isn't a problem. But I'm telling you, if you could just stop and admit when you've done something wrong, or admit when you're kind of being like a little manipulative or a little dishonest, people will respect that. And instead of pushing people away, you'll draw people closer, because they'll say, there's a guy that could admit his mistakes. That's a man who can admit his mistakes. All right? Not to get all preachy, but that's what being a man is about. You've got to admit your mistakes when you make mistakes. And not only do you have to admit that you've made a mistake, and you've apologized for making that mistake, you actually have to take action to fix it. You have to take action to make up for it. You have to say, I won't do that anymore. Because if you just keep saying that you're sorry, it doesn't mean anything, because you're not changing anything. All right? And I feel like I've said all I can on that matter. And whether or not you take that advice to heart and you actually break this cycle that you say that you're in, right? Like, I don't know. That's up to you. You can take that info and do with it what you want. All right? That's fine. I have, I think, 2 other things I wanted to talk to you about. So I'm going to try to keep it brief, and I'm going to get onto those, because this is really for them, but they're letting me talk right now. All right? And a lot of what I have to say, I believe, is things that they wanted to say.
I wouldn't have
Yeah, I don't want Twitch to like fight our battle.
No.
You know?
And it's all good.
But,
There's overlap.
You've got shit you need to talk about. You need to say some stuff too. You know. So you've obviously been bottling up some shit for a while. It's good to talk about it.
Well, I'll tell you what. And I'm gonna give this to you. Thank you for showing up, and thank you for not vanishing as soon as you saw me standing here. That's something that I'll acknowledge. Thank you for doing that, because
I'll give you that.
You know, I want to believe that you can do that.
No, I figured it was either you or me that were going to be here.
So
I just kind of...
And that's what I'll give you, is that it's ballsy that you saw Revo and you didn't leave. You stayed. That's ballsy.
And I'm not talking to you like I don't want to talk to you like I'm some big imposing figure, like I'm some popular guy. I'm just a dude. All right, I don't even want to have this popularity. I don't want to be this big name in the Mega Man community. I don't think of myself that way. I don't try to anyway. I'm just a guy. All right, and I just don't want to see this happen. If I was stepped on, if I was the one who was deceived, I would feel horrible. And so I see other people who are getting burnt by you, and you just run away. You start the fire, and then you vanish. And then everyone's left to go clean up the rubble afterwards, and it's not right. So, that's that. The next thing I wanted to ask about is the elephant in the room, who I believe is on the stage behind us somewhere.
What?
Chuck E. Cheese.
What the fuck? What does that mean?
Isn't there like an animatronic elephant?
A really interesting, really interesting meetup place.
I could have sworn there was a...
You're thinking of FNAF.
No,
There's no animatronic elephant.
I could have sworn Chuck E. Cheese had an elephant in their roster. Listen, whatever. Besides
there's a monster.
All right, there's a monster but no elephant. That's more believable. Listen, the point is, I picked Chuck E. Cheese because I thought it would break the tension. I figured Chuck E. Cheese would be a funny place to talk. Anyway.
That was lame.
Yeah, it was lame. Thank you, honey. Moving on. Now that the peanut gallery is stepping out of the room.
Oh, damn.
What I wanted to ask, as I said, is the horse in the room. The elephant in the room. Excuse me, you got my euphemisms all screwed up. See, you guys are throwing me way off my game now.
What the fuck?
So,
just saying, man.
Did you or did you not copy and or misuse avatars and models that you know you weren't supposed to?
I will say, if I answer that question, somebody else is gonna go.
I'm sorry. Say that again. If you answer the question, what happened? It broke up.
Somebody else is gonna get dragged into it, and I don't want that for them. So,
I'm not.
With all due respect, I'm not going to answer that.
I'm not sure who else would get dragged into it, but okay. So, in that case, let me ask a more specific question.
Isn't that kind of like a confirmation in itself?
That's fine. He wants to plead
anything?
the fifth. That's fine.
But yeah.
No, I wanted to be truthful, but I did not want to. I didn't want to lie either. So that, out of my respect.
Okay. That's fine. I'll take that. That's fine.
Yeah.
And if that's fine. So my next question then is, there was an incident that I saw chat logs from, and I've seen the model, where Sidon had a model of Harpuya from Mega Man Zero. And as I understand it, I could be getting some of these details incorrect. That was a model obtained by Manikou from an artist. Manikou didn't make the model, but he obtained the model from an artist who said that he was free to use the model as long as he didn't give it out to people. As long as it was kept private and it's kept within his possession and it's not
on
handed out to
DeviantArt.
people.
You can find it.
Okay, that's fine.
There's two parts. There's a helmet and a jetpack. And I took those things and I put it on a MMD model. Because this was way back in the day, before I even knew how to do it.
Alright, so the point that I'm getting at is that there is a model that was made to be Harpuya for Sidon, and there's chat logs, which I have read, where you were apparently asking them to have the model. You wanted to download the model, and they were like, I can't give it out, can't do that, can't do this and that. And then somehow, magically, you had the model, and you modified it into...
Yep. I can send you the DeviantArt link.
That's fine.
Right
that's fine. The point I'm getting at, though, is, I guess what I'm asking, since you're adding some additional context, is, did you copy Sidon's Harpuya avatar and then modify it into Phantom?
No, fuck no, dude. I can send you the FBX files.
Okay, so you're saying that you took the same MMD model that her Harpuya was based on, and then you modified that into Phantom.
You can cross-check it if you like.
I can't do that at the moment, but I'll take your word for it for now.
Yeah.
Okay.
But no, it's literally the MMZ0. That's the MMD one, the only one that was out at the time.
Okay.
Because this was before X-Dive.
Okay.
And then I painted him green, replaced Ominous.
Okay.
That's it.
Cool. That's all I wanted to know. That's.
By the way, I'm still here.
And then I thought I was hot shit and was like, see, I can do it too. You know.
Gotcha.
And then she's like, fuck you. And I was like, fuck you. That was it.
And you know what? That's fair. That's kind of all that I really wanted to ask about regarding that particular situation. Okay? The other situation I wanted to ask about is, and I don't really care about this. It's not that big of a deal, because I'm probably going to make all of my avatars public at some point anyway. Did you, or do you know, who it was that listed my avatar on the Ripper store?
Dude, I got no fuck. I haven't talked to you.
Just curious, because...
Like, I'm pretty sure you even fucking upgraded. Your eyes are missing, though.
I haven't changed anything about my avatar since it was completed, actually, so that's besides the point. I'm only asking because the timing of everything was really weird when you blocked me and you didn't want to have anything to do with me, and then all of a sudden a week later everyone's like, hey, your avatar is up on the Ripper store. Just thought it was weird timing. Just wanted to ask you about that. I don't really care. I just wanted to ask. That's all.
I can do dumb shit, but I'm definitely not that fucking...
Okay,
so.
That's fine. And I guess the other thing I wanted to ask about is, I mean, you said that you acted out of anger in this and that, but why is it that every time you're mad at someone, or you have a disagreement, or whatever the case is, you blow up at someone, their avatars suddenly pop up all over the place in public. Sometimes uploaded directly to your world. Like...
Which world? Like...
I don't know which one it is exactly, but I know that there was a bunch of avatars which were made, which were intended to be private, which are now plastered all over your world. Specifically, there was an incident very recently.
Okay. Are you talking about
apparently
the ones I did
yes,
for them?
Yes.
They were in calls watching those, and I did that for them. But yes, I did do that out of spite.
Okay.
Yes.
So you did that out of spite. Fine. Thank you for having...
I felt like I did a lot of work on something, and now that I no longer had contact with people now, and that fucking fan, majorly on my end, my fault. I felt that I just did not want to see this work go to waste. So being in the moment and only having really myself and project in front of me, just Blender open, I just sat there and was like, you know what, fuck it, it's gonna end.
Okay.
So that was, yes.
Well, I appreciate you having the courage to say that truthfully. I appreciate that. My next question is, do you have any plans on taking down the private avatars that you've put up in your world?
I can. Yeah.
Okay. I think that would be at least the fair thing to do. If these were avatars that were created with the intent of being private, as in they were made for certain people in particular. Like, for instance, I made my avatar for myself. It would be a little strange if everyone else started running around in it. I think I would be a little bit upset about that. So if these were intended to be private avatars, I think it would be a good show of goodwill, and it would be a good show of integrity if you kept them that way.
Okay. The only one I probably won't down. That's probably the only one I won't do.
I didn't catch which one that was.
The Toga one.
Sorry. Oh, Toga.
I've been having like hundreds of people joining my Discord lately, specifically wanting that one. So I feel that taking that away from them. It's Toga. I made like an NSFW Toga, yeah, and people are fucking loving it.
Okay, I mean, if it's something that you made, and that's fine. It's not a character that belongs to anyone in particular. I don't see any problem.
The Sonic OCs, the Sonic OCs, and like the Amy, and all the other ones I did for her, I'll take down. I'll take down as well.
I think that would be the right thing to do, but that's just my opinion, and I think that if you have the integrity to do that and hold true to that, I think that would be very good, and that would be a nice thing to do. I think that's the right thing to do, in my opinion.
I think after our talk, I will do that.
I don't mean to U-turn back into attitude issues and things like that, but there is a very big thing that I have heard about today, which I think is a very serious issue, which, and as I said, I'm saying this with good intentions because I'm telling you this will catch up with you and will screw you up in life if you don't heed this advice. But it involves things regarding consent and considering how uncomfortable someone might be feeling, and manipulation into making someone do something that they don't want to do by trying to threaten them with something. Okay? Now, I know that sounds a little roundabout, and I'm using big, scary words, but...
No, I got it. It took me a minute. I was like, what the fuck? But no, I know what you're talking about.
Heard some incidents where, and I'll skip to this one. We're gonna go ahead and talk about ultimatums. Okay? Where...
Do you want me to just straight up say, because I already know where this is going, I can just straight up tell your answer.
Go ahead and say what you're gonna say.
I figured that was gonna be it. So, and I'm just gonna look directly at you when I when I say this. So the ultimatum, yes, that was fucking stupid, right? It was wrong. And you know, do I regret it? Yeah. Right. I was like, I had this like in my head, but now I just. So. Yeah, it was stupid, right? And. I'm gonna sound real fucking. Okay. Fuck it. So. When you told me, you know, you just, right, you wanted to take a step back and just be friends and, like, you know, ease our way into being something. You know, you also mentioned how before, like how we first started, you know, dating was I was in a map with my best friend and someone was flirting with me and I was just like, well, you know, I wasn't reciprocating it, right, but I was just kind of letting it happen and that deeply, like, upset you, right? So I said, you know, well, at first I didn't even say anything. I talked with Strider for a bit. We were playing chess. If you are recording this, I don't know if you are or not, but can you edit that name out?
I'm not. I'm doing the dishes.
No, you're fine. You're fine.
No. He's talking to me. It's all good. I got you.
A lot of,
Okay.
and like I said, these are my actions, right? These aren't his. But he did suggest things to me. He basically, you know, I'm just gonna say it, like, the idea was put in my head, hey, you know, tell her, like, you know, either, you know, you can be with me, or, right, I'm just gonna fucking keep letting it happen. Because that was something you were very upset about, right? That some gifts had lit a fucking pit, right? And so that's what I told you. And then you were like, well, I don't really think I want labels yet unless you do. And I said, fuck it. You know, yes, that's what I want. And I like to think, you know, in my head, that I tried my best, as the person I am, you know, whether you want to me as a good person or bad or whatever, you know, opinions you guys have of me. I like to think that I really did my best. And we had several, right, moments together that really imprint themselves in my, sorry. They really impacted me. And it's not something I can just easily forget about. And so, you know, when the suggestion was brought, you know, after you know, disappeared for a day or two, and, you know, I asked you if I upset you and told me, hey, I think we should, you know, go back to being friends and work our way back into it. My head just kind of instantly flipped, and I was like, either, you know, that means a couple things, like, A, she's gonna move on, or B, you know, I'm gonna be sitting there trying for something that, you know, I'm not gonna be able to, like, obtain again. No, it definitely seemed like a, something I felt, you know, fucking Christ, I don't even, like I said, I don't know your guys' whole view. But it's something just my fucking heart couldn't take. Like, I couldn't sit there and be a guy and like being in love. Sorry, just seeing this happen and being able to accept that. So I felt, you know, like it would just be better if I just fucking move, you know, just ban it, right? And, you know, that's what I did. And after I did that, you know, I talked with my friends, and they were all like, yeah, you know, that was a good choice, blah blah blah. And I just felt like it wasn't. I felt like shit. So I came to you and I said, hey, sorry. And then, you know, when I said sorry, I genuinely meant that, right? I genuinely felt like I fucked up. I realized that it was done, and that I did still kind of want to be a friend. Even though I knew, right, that would be hard for me. I felt like, I should try to owe you that.
So
and then as we kept talking,
I have to interject for a second, and I hate cutting you off. I'm gonna let you get right back to this, but first of all, I need to stop and ask you: can you conceptualize how telling someone, if you want my company, you have to be my girlfriend, can come off as manipulative and a little bit dishonest?
I would say yes, I can see that.
Okay.
I would say in this situation, I saw it in a different light until I already made my decision.
Secondly, if you have friends who are telling you that blackmailing people into being your girlfriend is the right thing to do, like that was the right move. Oh, he's vanished. Okay.
I teleported, sorry.
That's all good. If you have friends who are telling you that was a good move, go tell her that she needs to be your girlfriend, or she can go take a hike or something like that. That you need new friends, man. Like that's really terrible advice. I think part of the problem, and again, this is just me looking from the outside. I'm a married man, so this is just my perspective on things. Okay, not that makes me any sort of authority. There's plenty of schnooks who are married and they're stupid. But
you're an old man, and
yeah, well,
good. I respect it. No, you're happy.
Well, if 32 makes me an old man, then I can't wait to be ancient. Now, but anyway, the point I'm getting at is that you are talking about Vinity like she's someone that you can obtain, and you're like, if I lose this person that I have obtained, I can't take it. I couldn't stand that. And I think this kind of goes along with this kind of is a little bit of insight into how you look at everything else based on what I've seen of your behavior, is that you don't look at things as things coming into your life, or you getting to share experiences or share, gifts and things when they come to you. You look at things in like a sort of like possession kind of way. And if you're going to date someone, you don't obtain them. I mean, I guess you can say in like a really loose sort of way that you do, but if they don't want to be with you, you have to be okay with that. You've got to learn to be gentle with that. You got to be able to say, yeah, this person doesn't want to be around me. You don't want to get someone and then entrap them, because that's not a relationship. That's a hostage situation. You need someone who wants to be around you. And if someone is saying, I don't want to be around you in that way, trying to force them to be with you is that now they just want to get away extra hard. You can't hold someone hostage. There is no like manly machismo sort of like, nah, you're my girl. Like, it don't work that way, man. Like, it might look that way if you like watch lots of pop, like, pop culture and like movies and crap. It's not like that in the real world. Maybe for some people it is, and those people usually end up getting divorced when they're like 25, right? They get married when they're like 20, and then they get divorced by 25 because, and they remarry 6 more times because they don't understand how a relationship is supposed to work. They think that a person is someone that you capture, and then you hang on to them, and then you cling to them. And men do this, and women do this in their own ways. Everyone does this in their own sort of like messed up kind of way. All right? And what you're doing is like that. It's highly possessive. It's highly manipulative, and it's not healthy. No woman is going to want to be around you. No one's going to want to look at you if they see that this is how you act. All right? You were talking to Vinity for I don't know how long, but it wasn't a very long period of time. Okay? A very short period of time. Let's go ahead and say it was a month, 2 months. 2 months maximum. You can't lock someone down after 2 months. It doesn't work that way. Like, maybe you can go steady if someone wants to date and that's what they want to do. Mm-hmm. Sure, I could see that happening. But if someone is saying, like, I don't really want to do this, I want to give my space, you are supposed to respect that. And if you don't respect that,
no,
you're
I
not
agree.
giving them any respect. You're disrespecting them actively. Especially if you give them a slap in the face and you say, you need to date me. You need to date me. And then, and again, I'm not trying to get mixed up in this, but like this is just my personal insight, just from what I've seen. You then, after you give them this ultimatum and they still turn you down, you can't then try to weasel your way into getting labels. You can't then be like, well, at least can you call me this, or at least can... No, man. You have to take that L. You have to take that loss. You have to take that
entirely how it happened, but
well, however it
I'll
happened, fine. All right, I have my version. You've got your version. Let's pretend that none of us have a version. This is just advice that I'm giving you. All right, if someone turns you down, that's it. It's over with. You have to be okay with that.
Right.
You have to have the integrity, and that's what a lot of this conversation is about, is integrity. You have to have the integrity to accept that this is how things went, and that's that. You have to be able to say, like if you fuck up, you have to say, I fucked up, I'm going to own this. You have to say, they don't want to be with me that way, that's how it's going to be. I'm going to be okay with that decision. Because you can't change it. You can't enforce what you want onto another person. It doesn't work that way. And you can't pressure them into things. You can't manipulate them into things. You can't say, well, because here's a person who wanted to still be your friend, and instead of taking that, you were like, no, I want something more. So now it's like, well, okay, now you get nothing. And it's not good, man. You can't be doing that. You really can't. Like I said, everything that I'm seeing you do with all this internet drama and all this crap, it is going to destroy you in your personal life, if not already. I don't know what your personal life is like outside of VR chat. All I know is that you've made a loud enough noise and a loud enough ruckus with everyone that I know in the Mega Man community, which is a small little niche, is like, it's like you've got a megaphone broadcasting to the whole world. All these things that you're doing, and it's like, bro, just get a spine. Just have some integrity. You got to man up a little bit. Like, that's it. I'm not saying this as an insult, but you have to stop, dude. You can't keep it up. All right? I'm sure that you really had strong feelings towards Vinity and probably some other girls that you know. But your behavior is it's like a repellent. You can't be doing that. I'm saying this to help you. You can't be doing that. And I mean, that's all. I'm circling back to where I started, but like, that was something that stuck out to me, where I'm like, this is bad news for this guy. This is like really bad news. Like, this is like the kind of stuff that gets you put on like a list. This is like restraining order kind of stuff. All right? You need to know that this is not okay, and you need to know that you can't keep doing it. You can't keep making excuses for it. You can't keep saying, well, I acknowledge that I did this. Yeah, okay, you can acknowledge it, but like, you're not actually acknowledging it. Like I was saying earlier, you can know something, but if you don't acknowledge it, then you're just pretending that it's not there. You can know that you're behaving in a scummy kind of way, but you're not acknowledging. You can say, I know that I acted XYZ, but you're not acknowledging it, you're not internalizing it, you're not saying, you're not taking responsibility for it. You just say, I'm sorry, and you move on. You can't, it's not going to work. It's not going to work out for you that way. You're going to just piss off everyone. And you don't, you don't deserve that. If I thought it worked that way, I wouldn't. No.
I said if I thought it worked that way, I wouldn't be still.
I
agree with what you're saying.
I just don't know what else to say on this, because it's just like, when you say one thing, but your actions say something else entirely. And as you know, the old idiom goes, and actions speak louder than words. A lot louder. And you can say, I'm sorry, and you can say, I acknowledge it, but if you don't start getting your shit together, your words are going to mean nothing. It's like the boy who cried wolf. I'm sorry, I'm sorry, I'm sorry, I'm sorry. And then when you were really sorry, when you really know that you fucked up, and you really know that you actually didn't mean what you said, no one's going to care. No one, like, literally no one's going to give a crap. And I think that you're already at that point with a lot of people. You're already at the end of your rope. You've burned a lot of bridges, and you can't just keep pretending that everyone who disagrees with you, or everyone who says something about you that hurts, is just an enemy. Because sometimes They might be telling the truth if you actually stop and, like, examine yourself. If someone's telling you, hey, this is really fucked up behavior, don't take it as like, ouch, they're insulting me, I don't want to be around that, fuck this. Maybe stop and analyze yourself a little bit. You're going to have to at some point. I'm telling you, it's extremely self-destructive behavior. I know, doesn't change anything. You have to say, I know, and I'm going to do something about it. I'm going to change something about it. You have to do that. I mean, I don't know. I don't want to keep talking in circles. I could go on about this forever because I have some very strong feelings, and I'm trying my best to
I know you do.
Keep myself reserved. But, like, there has to come a point where you hold yourself accountable for the things that you do. At your current rate, the best I've been able to do is to try to warn people about the way that you behave. All right, and you can feel any which way you want about that. But I don't think I've made up any lies. And anytime someone said, hey, this is wrong about him, or like something like that, I've removed it. I've gone and corrected, and I said, okay, that's wrong. That was wrong of me. I shouldn't have done that. All right? Because that's what you got to do. But you shouldn't have gotten to the point where people are literally warning other communities about you to not trust you. You don't want to erode your trust completely. I don't know how many new identities you're going to make or how many new names you're going to have, but you can't keep jumping on this victim complex every time someone gets mad at you. You can't. You cannot do it. And I don't know if maybe you just don't see it in the moment. Like, it can be really difficult, don't get me wrong, but you gotta stop. You can't keep playing the victim. I shouldn't say playing, because I'm sure it feels legitimate, but you have to stop and acknowledge, you know what, maybe someone has a point. At some point. You've got to do that. That's all I got right now.
I think I'm kind of doing that right now.
You are, and I've acknowledged that. I've told you. What you being here right now, that's really good. Like, I couldn't even put it into words how good that is. That's great. I honestly didn't think you were going to show up. I thought you were just going to cross your arms and say they're all a bunch of haters, and you were going to go say your usual spiel and make a passive-aggressive post somewhere about how, everyone hates you and the world is against you, and, your anger makes you stronger. No. None of that anime protagonist bullcrap. You got to stop, man. This is the real world. Like, I know this is technically a virtual Chuck E. Cheese that we're in, but I'm telling you, you're talking to real people. This is the real world. You can't keep doing this. I don't know how old you are, but, like, these are the kind of excuses I used to make when I was, like, a teenager. And then I had to wisen up. Because I don't remember exactly what happened, but I remember I made, like, a really shitty excuse for something stupid that I did to my dad. I told my dad some, like, really crappy-ass excuse. And this is the first time and the only time my dad has ever said this to me. He looked at me, and he knew that I was making up an excuse, and I knew that I was making up an excuse. And he said, Jesus Christ, can you please just once stop making up an excuse? Just own it. Just own the fact that you screwed up. You screwed up. Man up. Be a man. Have some integrity. A true man knows how to admit when he makes mistakes. And that's true of anyone, not just a man, of a woman, of a child. Everyone who's able to admit when they've made a mistake, that shows a lot of maturity. You can't keep saying the whole world's against you, because they have a point sometimes. All right? Like, that's just how it is. So, just, you gotta stop and do a little bit of self-reflection and realize what you're doing to other people.
Sorry.
You can't let your anger or your excuses, fuck up the people around you and then leave them to take the check. You know what I mean? You can't order the lobster and then walk out and then tell everyone else that they're the ones who have to clean up after your mess. You can't do that, man. You can't. I mean, I guess you could if you wanted to, which you've been doing for a long time. And what's it gotten you? You made everyone hate you. Do you want to be hated? I don't think you do, because based on all the posts that you keep making and all the bios that you write, you seem like you want to be a guy who makes something awesome. You want to create good content that people enjoy. You want to be looked at as this figure of someone who makes, you know, great things for people that they enjoy. You want to be able to make cool entertainment. You want to make cool things. And I've seen that you can do it. I know that you can model. I know that you can. I've seen you do it. There's no question in my mind that you can do that. I know that you've got some talent in you somewhere. But you keep cutting corners and you keep trying to blame it on everyone else. You can't. You can't. It's gotta stop. And like I said, in spite of how I feel, I'm trying to talk to you right now with legitimate intention to help you, because I don't want to see you become self-destructive. If you could somehow reverse this, I mean, I don't know if you're gonna get everyone back on your side. I don't know if that's possible. The people that you've pissed off are, you know, they might be saying, you know, screw this guy forever. That's something you might have to live with, unfortunately. But if you can turn this around, it's not going to be hopeless for you. That's just how it is. You know? I don't want you to be hated. You don't have to be hated. Just, I don't know, man. Just, you gotta just get your shit together. You can't keep making up excuses. All right? If you did something, you did something. If you didn't do something, you didn't do something. That's just, you know, it is what it is. That's a fact of life. But when you do something wrong, you need to be able to admit it. And not just admit it, you need to be able to take action to make up for it. Otherwise, it's like, I don't know, it's like pissing on the floor, then saying, I pissed on the floor, and then walking away. All right, well, are you going to go get some paper towels and clean it up, or what? You can tell people that you pissed on the floor, but you're not doing anything about it. Right? You didn't change anything. There's still piss on the floor. Aren't you going to do something? That's how you got to look at it, man. That's it. I'm talking your ear off. I can tell I'm going in circles. I got that's all I got to say, really.
Well, again, I respect you being here. That I took you as the last person to show your face, so.
I mean, I'm always here, and I'm always willing to talk to people. Even people who have wronged me, I'll talk to them. I mean, there's a limit. Some people I really don't want to talk to, but if they come here to me in good faith, and they want to actually hash out our problems, I will do that. But it's not going to be on the pretense of I'm going to use this as an excuse to tell you why I'm not wrong. All right? And I appreciate that you've come here and you've listened to me ramble and talk your ear off, and you've admitted to things that you've done wrong, and I appreciate that. But after this conversation, the only thing that will make any of what you said today have any meaning is you need to start changing your act up. You need to. Otherwise, people are going to keep hating you. You're going to keep getting kicked out of communities. Everyone's going to keep on, you know, talking about what a bad person you are. And I'm sure you don't want to be considered a bad person. But, you know, you got to break that cycle. In spite of how difficult it may be, you've got to do it anyway. That's what you have to do. That's it. That's all I got.
Fair enough.
You guys got anything you want to add?
I was gone for a long time, so I don't know what was said because my dad was kind of yelling at me. But
it happens.
Sorry. But yeah, I don't know, man. I am going to I don't know. I don't really have anything of value to say. It's just stuff that's probably been said.
I know that you're not wanting to say too much right now, Vinity. I'm sure that you've been listening. I've been seeing you moving around, this and that. Is there anything that you want to say? You can just nod yes or shake your head no. Okay.
I have no faith in you. I have no faith in you.
Fair enough.
You have really disappointed me this time.
Fair enough.
Now, without adding too much onto that, because I think that's a fair thing for her to say, is,
I do as well.
You know, some people, you're not going to win back with your actions. Things that you've done, things that you've said in the past. But that doesn't mean that you've got to lose other people in the future. And I hope that if you consider everyone's feelings and the way that people feel about you, that going forward, you will use this to inform your decisions. That you'll say, I did disappoint some people. I did hurt some people. And I did say some pretty terrible things. I don't want to do those things again. Because if you don't, you're just going to keep the cycle going. And I feel like when you're in a calm state of mind and you know you're cognizant of things happening around you, I feel like you know when something is right and something is wrong, and you need to start carrying that consciousness with you, you know, in everything that you do. Can't be spiteful the way that you have been, because it's not just a little bit of spite, it's not just like a little bit of petty stuff. You do things that really hurt people. And I feel like deep down you know that that's wrong. And I feel like if you can not do that and say, I was wrong, or it's not right to hurt someone back the way that I have, I think that will put you on a much better path going forward. You just got to start owning up to things, man. All right. I mean, I don't know what else there is to say.
Yeah.
Mads looks like he's good. Vinity has said her piece.
Yeah.
I don't know if you've got anything else that you want to add, but I think I've pretty much covered everything that I've got to say, and that's it.
Yep. All right. Well. See ya. Thanks for showing up.
I respect that you were willing to come.
Likewise.
I'm respect that you guys agreed to talk. So I will guess I'll see you guys around.
Alright, man.
Well, that was that.
Interesting.